Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. It's really early in the morning. I mean early, like it's 6:30. The mornings are getting lighter, aren't they? The heater's on at the moment. I just need to do this video. After shuffling the shelves around yesterday, we had an emergency. Later in the afternoon, I just felt really cold. And I thought, I'll pop the heating on for an hour. Now, to turn the heating on manually, I have to go upstairs into the cupboard where the water tank is, where the hot water tank is. So I turned it on, and the boiler recently has been making a strange noise when you turn it on. It doesn't last long, and then it's fine. And it's fine now. But, big but, the carbon monoxide alarm went off. Serious. This is serious stuff. This is a killer. You can't see it, you can't smell it. It can only be detected. And first of all, I thought, with the smoke alarm, you wave a cloth at it. Once I left a steak on too long and it started to smoke a bit, and the fire alarm went off. You wave a cloth at the alarm and get some fresh air around it, and it stops. Well, it didn't work with the CO alarm, and I know nothing about alarms, so this is serious. So I took the Phalaenopsis out of the kitchen straight away and brought them into the grow room, and then in addition to that, I opened the window and I opened the front door to get an airflow through. Not really knowing what I was doing, but that was the best I had. I phoned the agent immediately, said what the problem was and everything. They said they would get somebody onto it. Well, this is late in the afternoon, like 4 o'clock, 4:15. Well, they didn't get anybody sorted yesterday. I thought it was a bit late in the day for somebody to, sort of stop what they're doing. Oh, I really do hate pigeons. It's gone. So nobody turned up yesterday, but good old YouTube, good old internet. If you've got a problem, just look it up on there and average out all the cobblers that you read to find the sensible answers. The alarms, the CO alarms, have a shelf life, first and foremost. Lots of things said, check your batteries. Well, you disregard those straight away. If the alarm's going off, the batteries must be working, mustn't they? Duh! Dumb can you get? Check your batteries. If the batteries were dead, it wouldn't be making a noise, would it? Now, some alarms do have a chirp noise as the battery power starts to get low. Now, that's not the alarm going off, that's just a warning that your batteries are low. It's a totally different thing. So we disregarded that, but nonetheless, I changed the batteries anyway. That's before I started thinking sensibly. The trouble is, when you get something serious like an invisible gas that could kill you, you go into a semi-panic mode. And then we did the sensible thing. One particular thing said, most of these alarms are hooked on a pair of screws. They're not bolted to the wall. You should be able to just lift the alarm off. Take it outside and see if the alarm stops. If the alarm stops, then the detector is working properly and is detecting carbon monoxide. So I thought, brilliant. So take the alarm miles away from the potential source of the problem and see if the alarm stops. Well, it didn't. So down the bottom of the garden, in the nice, clean, fresh country air, the alarm was still going off. So we now determine the alarm is faulty. Yeah, this comes to the end of its life. The sensor is just reading wrong. So I've ordered a new one on Amazon. I was thinking, oh God, this is going to cost a fortune. 15 quid plus postage. And that's replacing the one I've got. A much newer version. But so, as a precaution, I left the window open all night and shut the door so that, if there was a build-up of any CO, it would be diluted because the window was wide open, and also that kept Mojo out of the kitchen. Well, he stays up with me in there. Anyway, I came down this morning, started the boiler up. It made the funny noise again, and I had a look through the little inspection hole, which allows you to sort of check the flame, and the flame does actually look blue, because carbon monoxide is produced when fuel burns badly. In other words, it doesn't burn properly, and that's detected on gas as yellow in the flame. You know, if there's soot or anything, you know, if it's not burning clean, it leaves a residual carbon monoxide. That's your dangerous stuff. So anyway, I'm still expecting a gas man to arrive and do a safety check on the boiler, and also see if we can work out why it's making a funny noise. Chatted to the guy next door, and he said, "Is it a glowworm boiler?" I said, "Yeah, it is." He said, "You do realise those boilers were fitted in 1995? Because both houses were done together, 1995. It's nearly 30 years old. So it's doing very well." God, how inefficient must that be? Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, so I've calmed down today. My new alarm will arrive today. First thing I will do is test it somewhere miles away from the kitchen, where the boiler is, and make sure it doesn't come on, and then take it into the kitchen and see if it does. And if it does, then I have a serious problem, which will, you know, that I will have to have somebody here who knows what they're doing and reassure me that they have fixed it, and show that, you know, they should have a detector with them anyway, and both detectors are showing no signs. That's the state I want to get to. So yeah, it's this pigeon won't give up, will it? They eat the same amount as like 20 little birds in seconds. No. Yes, so a bit of an emergency and a bit of a worrying night's sleep, if you know what I mean. Anyway, there are symptoms you would get if there was a build-up of carbon monoxide. I haven't got any. So I think we had a faulty detector, faulty alarm. New one will arrive today. Hopefully a man will arrive and do a complete safety check. And it may be that he condemns the boiler and actually says, "You need a new boiler, mate. This one's just not..." I mean, it would be very inefficient for a start, being that old. So I'm obviously wasting money burning gas I don't need to, trying to keep warm. So that was that. I've got up this morning, I have no backache. So the work I did yesterday, no backache. And that was the hard work, because it meant cleaning all the windows and the mould. You know, these two panels and the floor were in a hell of a state. I didn't film that exactly. But that took a long time. Now, moving the rest of the shelves around is not going to be difficult, because they will slide with the plants on them. So it'll be like doing a shelf dance, you know, like one will move out here, and then another one will go there, and then that one will go there. But yeah, using the central floor space, I should be able to shuffle the shelves around without taking the plants off. We may have the odd accident, you know, where one falls over, but I'll risk that. So I may well get on with that today, I don't know. But now I'm just going to show you something. I'll shut down, I will just turn the camera on. I'm not going to say anything until I've filmed the next little bit. Now, for a lot of people, it will mean nothing. And to some people, their jaw will drop. But I'll shut down and then just come back on in a second. We're going out in the front on the driveway. How about that then? It's £250,000 worth of car on the driveway. Now, if I had that, I would sell it, and I'd go and buy a house and live in it. Cars don't do much for me, I'm afraid. That is just an incredibly expensive piece of tin. It's going to get stuck in the same traffic jams, it's going to stop at the same sets of traffic lights, it's going to have to wait at all the roundabouts the same as everybody else. You know, it's probably got a better stereo system in it, if there's room. And it's only 2 seats as well. Anyway, it's next door. It's got a friend down from London, and the guy could only come in that car if he could park it off the road. His insurance won't cover him to park it on the road. So the guy next door sort of knocked and had a chat and everything, and he said, is it okay, you know, do I need to go out over the next 2 days? Can his friend park the car on the driveway? Because I'm blocked in now. But he's here, you know, I mean, if I have an emergency and have to go out, then obviously he'd move it. But yeah, I didn't mind. I don't go out much. But yeah, £250,000 worth apparently. So I'm told. I don't know these things, but as I said, I don't think it. I mean, apparently the guy worked for the same employer in a small family business all of his life, and when the owner of the business got to retirement, he sold him the business. And at the time the business wasn't doing very well. The business took off, and the guy who owns the car sold the business for £13.2 million. So the cost of that car is a drop in the ocean in that sort of sum of money. If I had that sort of money, I would not be parking on a drive in the UK. I'd be somewhere where the sun flipping shines. With lots of warm growing orchids. Yay, back to the Cattleyas and the Vandas, yay. Yeah, we can dream. But yeah, I don't, in my mind's eye, I don't think I would ever justify spending that amount of money on something to drive around in, you know, like I say, sitting in the same traffic jams as everybody else. There's no open roads. The fun's gone out of driving in this country now. Too many cars, too much restriction, too many signs, too many white lines. You know, it's just all, the fun's gone out of it now. It's now functional. You get in a car, you go from A to B because you need to, and that's it. So for me, the car doesn't matter that much. You know, you can tell by what I've got, can't you? Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that as a once-in-a-lifetime thing to be sat outside your house, I would imagine. Anyway, today, hopefully I will get my safety check done on the boiler. Peace of mind more than anything. My new alarm will arrive. It's capable of being a standalone alarm. In other words, you can just put it on a worktop, or it can be fixed to the wall with screws. But the chances of the 2 screws that are already there lining up with the new unit are 0, I would say. If they do, brilliant, I'll hang it on the wall. But for now, it can sit underneath the boiler. It'll work okay. And yeah, we get the boiler and everything sorted out. Maybe I'll have to have a new one, but I won't be paying for it, obviously. That's landlord will have to pay for that. They're not cheap nowadays either. So yeah, a bit of an emergency last night, and a trifle worrying because of the nature of what could be, and hopefully all sorted during today. And I'm going to possibly crack on and get the rest of these shelves moved around today. I don't need to water anything today apart from the mounts. They just, I am using the sprayer now for convenience more than anything. So, you know, I've been going round the pots with the sprayer, round the edge, you know, not watering the plants with the sprayer. I'm not getting things wet. I mean, temperature dropped right down. We were borderline on a frost when I got up this morning. Outside temperature was down to about 3. You know, it's the middle of April. We're heading towards May. It's still freezing cold nights. But we're just having a cold snap at the moment. We've got a north airflow and it's cold. So, yeah, anyway, Chatty One, just to let you know what's going on. And emergency not over yet, but I'm confident that the alarm was just a faulty unit, and the cause of the alarm going off in its, in its working state is not there. That was just a false alarm, so to speak. But boy, are they loud. I mean, in the end, I took the battery out to stop the noise because it just kept going. And I went out in the garden, and with the kitchen window open, down the bottom of the garden, it was still loud, which meant all the neighbours could hear it. And I was worried about somebody thinking an alarm's going off in the house and there's nobody in. So they start phoning the fire brigade or the police or something, So I took the battery out in the end. Shut the thing up. Anyway, hopefully we get a new one that's working. And if it's deemed working and it still detects carbon monoxide, then I shall expect a full safety check when the guy comes and an all clear. Seriously, this stuff's not nice. Anyway, I'm going to go and get some breakfast now in the kitchen where all the poisonous gas is. I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, bit of an emergency. So much of an emergency, I didn't even have my satisfying glass of wine for the work that I'd done, my reward. I didn't even get that. Perhaps we'll try again tonight. We shall see. Anyway, see you next time. I have a new bloom to film, which I will do later on when the light's better, but the light's good now. Got blue sky out there, and the sun is about to hit the roof again in this morning thing, and there's a huge amount of light. You'll be able to see that because it's now highlighted. That's next door's brick wall. Look at the reflected light coming off of that. Now the sun never used to do that. Yeah, that's reflecting in here, so yeah, we're getting a lot more light, that's definite. And get the plants shuffled round onto their appropriate shelving. And most of the shelving being on the outside edges, these two, and away from this dark corner. See, all the phalaenopsis are out here. Yeah. That was because I had to open the window, so I needed the windowsill clear. And also, I mean, when I came down this morning, the kitchen was down to 10 degrees. So it's a good job the fowls weren't still in there. Whereas in here, obviously, it's a minimum of 15. So anyway, I'm going to go and get some breakfast and another coffee. We've waffled enough. And, another serious problem. YouTube has got a problem, and there are a few blogs around that are identifying it, but as yet YouTube won't admit that they've changed something and it's not working properly. What is happening, you will, if you're a creator, you may find this anyway. When I get up in the morning, first thing, I get me coffee, feed the cat, get me coffee, sit down and write my my replies onto the comments I've got on my previous video. That's what I do first thing in the morning. Every time I write a comment and hit reply, it disappears. It's not there. And yet the comment shows one reply. It just doesn't show the reply that I've typed. Now, I changed channels. I went onto the Gardening Channel where I think there were only 5 or 6 comments to deal with. So I stuck the replies on and they all disappeared. Gradually, they pop up. So they're being held somewhere by YouTube and then released later. But when you do a massive lot like I do on my orchid videos, there's sometimes 20, 30 comments to deal with, and I type them in pretty quick. And it looks like they all disappear. And then gradually they pop up. Well, at least I hope they will all pop up, because the comment, your comment, is showing that there's a reply. You just can't see it. It's being held somewhere. There's some mechanism that YouTube have introduced where they're doing an extra check on the replies before they're made public. They won't admit to it. You can't find that they've changed anything anywhere. It's just YouTube, you know, using us public as their test bed. Instead of testing things properly before they actually release them, they release them and blow it. You know, that's their attitude. Also, whoever made this change obviously didn't test it properly, or they tested it and they don't care. You know, and they'll get round to telling us all about it soon. But having a reply that you've just typed and you hit reply, and all your words, which could be, you know, a whole paragraph, it could be an answer to a question, you know, and it just disappears. So just a warning that, and it looks like they have disappeared, because what I did to double check was I had a look at my gardening video from my Orchid channel. So not as creator, not as owner of the channel, as a visitor viewing the video, and the replies weren't showing. And as I was watching the video, one reply popped up. So obviously YouTube released that one. Which, I mean, they must have done a lot of work to check it out, because it said, thanks. So, you know, they did a lot of work checking that, didn't they, to make sure it had no inappropriate language and everything like that. They did a massive check to make sure the word thanks was okay. Some of the logic of these techies. Anyway, just a warning shot that you may look at a comment that you left to see my reply, and you might not be able to see it. Yeah? So it's not me. I'm still religiously going through, that's a bad word to use, methodically going through leaving replies on all your comments. And the time that I do that is first thing in the morning. That's normally the only time I do it. So that's when your replies pop up, is early in the day UK time. And I will see you next time. My toast and coffee is calling. Bye for now.